Solana has had a pretty significant run, so far returning 1,479% since its lows in December 2022. And well, things are looking pretty interesting for the Sol token. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts and opinions on where the price action could be going by the end of the next bullish market. Let's roll the intro and get right down into it. Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Solana update. Here we have Sol paired up with USDT. We're on the daily Binance chart here, and we're basically going to be taking a look at the bigger macro picture for Solana. Now, as many of the OGs of the channel will know, we were invested in Solana a little bit in the previous bullish market, and I did a video and it didn't get received overly that well, but I basically exited, I think it was around $189 approximately right there. And well, a lot of people said I would live to regret that. And of course, we saw a significant pull to the downside and a great run ever since. Now, for the record, I am not invested in Solana. I'm kind of on the fence as to whether or not I will be buying it on the next major drop or not. I'm on the fence. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But it has had great returns in the previous bullish market, and those returns do look like they are returning into the current bullish market that we find ourselves in. So let's jump down into the charts. So we saw a great run to the upside, right? Let's go ahead and just kind of review the percentages that were made. If you were able to buy it at $1, like so many of the VCs out there, hence why they're all locked up, and potentially even lower than that, to be fair, sub $1. This is why it's so heavily pushed by so much media, is because of the VC backing. We did see a 25,130% in gains. Now, don't get me wrong, there's better assets out there. In the previous bullish market, we take Polygon's Matic, for example, did well over 109,000%. Significantly better performing assets are out there, but 25,000 isn't something to kind of shrug off as nothing. It's actually a pretty decent return. It outperformed many other assets like Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, XLM, Polkadot, Algorand, 𝗕𝗗𝗪, Cardano. It outperformed many assets. The question is, are these gains that we've seen previously going to repeat themselves in the next bullish market, or are we going to see stunted growth now we've had that first kind of initial surge? And I think for the most part, it's kind of common practice that we do see that. We do often see diminishing gains over time. You take Bitcoin as an example. We saw those real good surges in the very early days, 50,000%, and then 20,000%, then 8,000%, and then in the last bull market, just 2,000, right? And so over time, we will see less and less. So it's important that we kind of reflect on this, right? We're not likely to see 25,000% for Solana, at least not right away. But we can see, of course, that price had come down quite aggressively here, right? $8 was a great purchasing price for Solana. I thought personally it would go down a little bit deeper than this during that crash, but no, 96.91%. It definitely wasn't one of the best performing assets in the bear market, right? We definitely saw other assets holding up better than this one, okay, in the same way that we saw with the gains. But nonetheless, a great opportunity for accumulation. We have good faith that it was going to survive, even though it does keep turning itself off, or they keep turning it off and has these outages. Despite all of that, people still are really pro Solana, right? And so I still see this one potentially performing quite well. We still have a little bit more to the upside before we have a major correction, and that major correction is likely to see a pretty significant drop down where we do find great accumulation once again. So profits will be taken off the table, in my opinion. I'm going to give you a rough idea as to kind of where my mind is at with this one. I'm going to put it about there. I'm going to move this across, right? So here we can see this area of previous support down here and an area of consolidation, right? Basically, this area was resistance. We broke through it, and the expectation will be to turn it into support before we rally up to new all-time highs, right? Now, it could be wrong, but that's going to be the area that I'm kind of just focusing in on for now. Now, in terms of price action, right, we've seen great move in the previous bull market. We've seen a great drop to the downside, great accumulation, and now we're kind of off to the races, right? I do expect us to kind of cool off, profits to be taken, a revisit to an accumulation zone, and then we're going to see some real big parabolic moves, right? And so where are they going? And well, when we zoom into our charts here, there's a few things to kind of take into consideration, right? We're going to, first of all, take a look at this target range just up here. So let's hypothetically say we have a little bit more to the upside, bit of a cooling off period, and then a big run to the upside. The first kind of area of expectation on the all-time high front is going to be about $618.24. Now, that might be really kind of underwhelming to many from a percentage point of view. And returns on investment. Let's see if I can snap that in there. We are going to be talking about 7,500. It's still very, very good returns on your investment, right? So good growth here, some good potential. Now, if you're a latecomer and just looking to dollar cost average now, then you're going to see about 400%, 450%, something to that effect, right? So not necessarily the best, but a great place to kind of be thinking about. Now, if we are to see some great moves to the upside, potentially, some more news maybe around Solana spot ETFs, right? Those things do circulate on crypto X and all of that kind of stuff. Whether there's any factual evidence to that, I don't know. But for the most part, people are kind of speculating on the idea that Solana will get a spot ETF. And I think in time it will, but I think it will probably be after other mainstream assets. I think Chainlink has a high probability, for example, of getting a spot ETF, considering they are both in the crypto space and in the traditional space. Now, $618, pretty good, right? But we could potentially see a move up to $2,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and show you what this might look like, right? So here we can see a bit of a cooling off period and then a bit of an explosive move up into new all-time highs. Now, that would mirror more of what actually happened previously, right? And I did say that it's unlikely that we're going to see 25,000%. Therefore, I feel it's unlikely that we're going to rally all the way up to this 2,000% level, but it would give you that 25,000%. Now, should something like a Solana spot ETF be something that actually does get an application and does get approved, well, that could change things, and that could change things in a really bullish way. Basically meaning that maybe over time, we actually head out more towards this number right here, which is 7,447. Now, I am not suggesting that that is something that happens overnight, not suggesting that is something that would happen in kind of like a one bullish market. I would expect that to be something that would happen over multiple, but it is something that is right there. That would be 93,000% from the $8 low. Okay, so for the long-term holders, this could be a really huge opportunity. And of course, something that a lot of those bulls will be wanting to kind of talk about quite aggressively because, well, they are the early investors, right? Some of them of these kind of, YouTuber, VC kind of channels and influencers out here, they were buying less than $1, right? And so they're holding their Solana positions are locked up until much, much later down the line. And so they're incentivized to really kind of push that position higher. And as such, that might actually mean that there's a marketing that allows for these significantly higher numbers. Personally, in the same way that I said before, and with the previous kind of bullish market, that was $189 and I was done. I would be in a very similar position here. Had I invested down here at the $8 level, I'd be looking at that $618 and being done. If it goes higher, it goes higher. That's fantastic. But ultimately, I would be all about locking in those gains and not being dumped on by the crypto VCs that are holding very significant positions in Solana. Ultimately, I want to take the profit and I don't want to be left holding a position for the VCs to be dumping on myself. But let me know what your thoughts are on all of this in the comments down below. And why not you check out this video here where I'm talking about Polygon's Matic and the potential for very significant returns after the Ethereum spot ETF.